We got 14 inches of snow in Kansas this weekend. And we're out there shoveling snow to try to get the vehicles out of the driveway. And the snow was coming up to our hip. And uh, as we pulled out of the driveway, like we finally got all the snow removed. My husband did the bulk of the work. And when we finally pulled out of the snow, I was so grateful that my husband was driving. And let me tell you why. Because Josiah has been driving in the snow because he's had trucks and like, he kind of thinks it's fun. So he's actually been driving in the snow competently for a really long time. Bless his heart, he just turned 40 this year, but he's been doing this, every year for decades now of his life. And and it made me realize, he is a confident driver in the snow because he's put in the reps. I am not a confident driver in the snow because I've always been kind of afraid to do it. And I've always had ways to work around it. I've always had others that were more confident than me that would go and do the thing and, go to the store if we needed or take somebody somewhere where they needed to go. And I've just kind of held back. And as I'm watching him confidently navigate side streets that have not been plowed, I was like, gosh, you know what? The only difference between Josiah driving and me driving right now is he's put in the reps. Like I could totally do that if I had put in the practice over years of time that he has. And it doesn't take years to put in reps. It doesn't take years to put in the time to be able to get confident and competent at a skill. It takes reps. It's the number of times that you have practiced. And so if you find yourself looking around and going, I'm hesitating to do that thing, I'm hesitating to post a video, I'm hesitating to pick up the phone and make a call, it may not be that other people are just better than you at it naturally. It may be that they have put in the reps. And your job to become the confident person that you want to be in a certain skill set or doing a certain thing, it is that you just need to put in the reps. And so this is a year where we are going to put in the reps. And what that means is that you're going to repeat doing the thing until you feel confident. We're going to be posting videos. We're going to be going live. We're going to be picking up the phone and making the call. We're going to send the email, even when it makes our stomach turn. We're like, oh, I'm going to ask for what I want. The more that you do the thing that makes you feel nervous, the better you're going to get at it and the more confident that you will become. Confidence is not something that comes as a result of just feeling a certain way. It's not like some magic pill that you can take that like, oh, now I've got confidence. It's, you may need to learn some things. You may need to shift your beliefs in order to have the courage just to try it and to get started. But the confidence comes from repetition, putting in the reps, doing something over and over again until you feel more competent and confident doing it. I want to introduce you to something called the law of assumption. The law of assumption says that that your assumptions create your reality. And so if you assume that you can't do something, you are correct. If you assume that you can do something, you will also be correct. And so if you feel like you're broke, you're not making the money that you want to make, things didn't go the way that I wanted to, I want you to take a moment and examine your assumptions. So if you assume that money is hard, it's hard to make money, money's hard to come by, or you have assumptions maybe even about, rich people are evil, right? Like a lot of us were raised with this mindset or this idea that it's somehow wrong to have too much. Because that's somehow taking away from other people. And a lot of that comes from backgrounds, from programming from very, very early on. And so, if you have those assumptions, guess what? Your reality is going to reflect those assumptions. In reverse, if you have an assumption that money comes easily, that money loves me, I don't have to work hard to make a lot of money. I am an attractor of multi-million-dollar deals. I am going to double my income this year. If you have beliefs and assumptions that reflect a new future that you want, and you believe that, then then that's what your life is going to reflect. You're going to act as if that is true. And so even if that doesn't feel true yet, we're going to assume that that is true, because you don't attract what you want, you attract who you believe you are. You don't attract what you want, you attract who you believe you are. And so if you believe that you are someone who is worthy of making money, you are worthy of having your income double this year, and you have this belief that everything is going to come together and make that happen, your brain is going to go to work to make the pieces fall into place. The first part is you've got to believe. You've got to believe and assume that everything's going to work together and make it happen. And then you got to put in the reps. You got to act as if. Assume it will happen, assume it is true, and then act as if it is already happening. That's the key. All right. And so some of us think that we have to wait until we feel a certain way. We have to wait until we feel confident. And really, there's some beliefs work that we have to do in order to show up and start taking the action. And one of the ways that we can trick our brain into starting to believe those things is to challenge the words that you are using. Check yourself on the language that comes out of your mouth. And if you find yourself thinking something to yourself, to pause, because your first thought is your programming. The thought that comes after that, how you correct that thought, that's the truth. That's the truth. When we learn better, we do better. Okay. And so just because you've grown up with a lot of programming that says things are hard and it may never happen for you, or you have these beliefs floating around that everything has to be a struggle, that doesn't mean that has to be your future. That doesn't have to be your future. And so I want you to challenge those beliefs, challenge the assumptions that you have about making money, about what you're capable of, and change that language. Money comes easily. I am worthy, and I will double my income this year. Right? Change into those types of beliefs and watch for the things to happen around you, and be the one who shows up and takes action and puts in the reps.